So guys, I thank you for, short notice being able to jump on a phone call or Teams call. I can't say phone call anymore. So thank you guys for jumping on here with us. Primary reason for today's Teams call was one, personally, I'm excited coming from the Charleston area and being able to grow KSH out of the Niwot customer base, as a baby company that we started to where it is now as part of a unit within ECS is fantastic. And the fact that you guys won the Palmetto Cyber Defense Competition, is fantastic. I love it. It speaks volumes about the ECS team, the culture that ECS is put together and stuck with as we've continued to grow. I think, one of the key pieces is that, this team was not just a Charleston-based team. We've got folks that are based out of Charleston. We've got folks, based out west, individuals in the DC metro area. So again, from me personally, I want to say congratulations and job well done. And also from ECS, you guys did a fantastic job, from a team perspective. So I've asked Shab and some of the folks from our marketing group to participate today because we really want to get to know, what this competition meant to you guys individually. So it's one thing to say, hey, look, we won a hackathon, that's great, but we're more concerned with, what did you guys take away from the competition? What do you think were the highlights? And, what would you like to say to your peers across DCS that are maybe on the fence, about participating in some of these events or getting engaged with some of the things that ECS wants to sponsor? So, that's a whole lot of talking for me to say thank you guys for everything that you did, for, from your efforts and coming together as a team. And congratulations again on the win. I'm going to go Alex Trebek and go around kind of the quartiles of the screen and call on you guys. So let's start with Miss Katie. If you could just kind of walk us through what was the data set, kind of the problem that you guys were presented with, and your approach and then what you took away and what the actual PCDC meant to you.
We were given multiple data sets with multiple issues all at once, and basically given get it all done, just like you would in a regular day-to-day company. So that's basically, I think, how we've all treated it. We've all got a certain caliber of experience that we expect with ECS, and we just treated the competition like we would any other day at work, and prioritized and take a breath and make notes on what needed to be done by what time and kind of prioritize from there. Obviously, network security being one of them. We want to protect our clients' information, and we just kind of knocked it out just like any other day at work.
Awesome. And was there any one thing that you would maybe look at and say, hey, I think this was really fantastic from a competition perspective or a team building perspective? Is there anything like when you look back and say like, this is the one shining thing that I really picked up on?
I think we all just were able to work together really well, considering we've only, I think, had about 30 minutes of information sharing ahead of time before the schedule. So it was really good that we were able to just kind of mesh really quickly, figure out everybody's high points, low points, and kind of move forward.
Okay, so we're going to go roundtable session on this. So Katie, thank you. I may come back with a couple questions. Everything I do is kind of impromptu, drive shop nuts, but I don't believe in scripted stuff. So you're going to get raw me with questions. So we're going to go roundtable and we're going to fire. So Joseph, thank you, sir. Kind of the same thing. So with the understanding of the data set, can you walk us through what were a couple of the items of the data set? What was the problem? Like, overarching, what was the problem they asked you guys to address?
And can I ask really quick, jumping on Steve's question, do you mind introducing like your role, like what your role is in ECS?
Sure. So my name is Joe Chmielewski. I'm the lead penetration tester for the MSP. The whole premise of the competition was more or less that the previous IT group was fired and we were brought in to take over and save the day. So like Katie was saying, I mean, we had very little time to really get up to really do some information sharing. And even the information that we had prior to starting the competition with all the prep work wasn't very useful a lot of times, because a lot of times we were expecting to be dealing with like Cisco switches and a lot of other network devices, and we came into more of a just client server atmosphere or environment for the most part, with a PFSense firewall that just didn't seem to want to work for us that day. And I think it was very enjoyable since we had the white team that we had to report to, and then we had the red team constantly messing with us. One prime example is they defaced one of our websites. We were able to go and remove the defacement and start to patch things up, and next thing I know, they stuck in behind us, locked us out, and put a new hack page up. And I then spent too much time trying to get it back, but it was very fun. It was frantic, crazy, but fun, especially with the team we were working with. A lot of great, smart people in different spots, all working together to try and tackle it. And I felt we worked pretty well together, considering most of us don't know each other.
Yeah, outstanding. And if we could, we'll circle back. So Miss Katie, you can kind of walk us through just a quick introduction, your location and your role within ECS.
I am in Charleston, South Carolina, and I am a MedCoid Network Project Coordinator.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, let's go. Gregory, can we go to you next, sir? Kind of, in the same vein. So Joe kind of walked us through the data set. What do you think was the most challenging piece of the problem and the solution that you guys were presented outside of time frame and, in the short duration, but from a tech or a data point, what do you think would be the toughest challenge?
So my name's Greg. I work with Katie in Charleston with Intel High support. We troubleshoot everything for the treatment facilities. As far as the question, as far as the challenging is the network layout that you're given, you can't trust it. So you have to go dig in to see if it's legitimately really there. And then we did finally get some confirmation. I don't know if Katie shared, but that PFSense firewall was not in line. It was sort of there to be a decoy. So that after beating our heads for 4 hours saying this doesn't look right, we were right. It wasn't right. So trying to verify and validate that information that you're giving was definitely the challenge.
Awesome. That's fantastic. Adam, let's go to you, sir.
Hey guys, Adam Tischler. I work kind of in the ECS SOC area. Part of my allocation is there, and I also work for the CDM dashboard team. I'm an Elasticsearch engineer. So I was kind of ready to have my skills challenged a little bit. I thought this was going to be sort of like an active environment. We were going to put our defenses up. We were going to track people. We were going to keep them out. I was really confident that we were probably going to keep these guys out. You don't keep these guys out. They are in consistently and persistently inside the systems. So let's see. Biggest challenge. For us, I guess one of the bigger challenges was when you went to troubleshoot something, we weren't doing the normal troubleshooting. We really had to think about out of the box, why did I just get locked out of this server? Well, it's not because the network's down. I could still ping it. No, I actually got locked out because they enabled the firewall on me and they blocked remote desktop. Then we have to go back and be like, do we have any other way into the system? Do we have any other way to revert the change back that they had applied to us? So, I mean, that was challenging to think on our toes, but also think outside of the box, because we were tempted to look at firewall logs and want to be in this one appliance, and then come to find out that was just a decoy to keep us busy with other things. So lots of challenges. That's probably just one of them. Was there another question you had for me, Steve, or did I answer what you're?
That was perfect. Thank you, Adam. And so are you located in the Virginia area, sir? I'm a remote employee. I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So I'm in Central Time Zone and supporting from Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Okay.
Gotcha. And so real quick, so Joe, your location, sir?
I am in Springfield, so near Legato.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, and let's round out the team. I know we had one individual that was not going to be able to make it from Ryan, but James Dietman, go ahead and let's go ahead and get you introduced here, and I got a couple questions for you.
Hey everyone, my name is James Dietman. I'm the director of the analyst team over at the ECS MSP. I work also out of the DC area.
Okay. So James, is this your first hackathon, or have you done this a few times?
I've done a few. I've got a couple competition wins previously. This is my first time at PCDC, but I've done some other ones.
All right, so if you take, and I'm picking on you on purpose, I know a little bit of your background. So as far as from a team perspective and being able to, one, look at the COVID challenge and look at from, where you guys were able to address from an eclectic team looking South Dakota, Charleston, South Carolina, Springfield, Fairfax, how do you rank this team and this challenge in comparison to some of the ones where you maybe have been able to, co-locate and sit down and troubleshoot? Kind of walk me through your thoughts on that.
I think that we did surprisingly well given the circumstances. In my previous hackathons, we've almost exclusively been working with people that I know well and people who are all working in the same place, or perhaps having 1 to 2 remote competitors, but otherwise all in one place. It makes coordination a lot easier, especially with the specific restrictions around communications that the PCDC team had set up. For example, the gold team always needed to be able to listen into all team discussions. We needed to be on video at all times, and given certain device restrictions, that made that very difficult. As for the challenge itself, this was one of the harder ones that I've participated in, to be honest. All of the security tools in the environment were decoys effectively. We were working fairly blind, and we came in with the assumption that we'd have a little bit of time to do basic setup and basic defenses in place. But as we discovered later on, this is a lot more like a real world onboarding the new customer for the MSP, where you have to come in assuming compromise going in. The red team already had implants on these systems before the competition started, which is a totally fair thing for them to do, but it's difficult for the defenders to suss out.
Okay. And so James, from with the understanding of doing this a few times, so the problem set. So you guys, what I got from Joe was you were a new contractor coming in per se, and you were taking over for an outgoing organization. And so kind of walk me through what was your guys's, what was that win theme? How did you guys get through, what areas you had to tackle from a problem set, and what was that final thing that made you guys feel like the judges said, all right, Team ECS, you're the winner? So how, I guess in layman's terms, how did you guys pull it off? Walk me through that.
From my perspective, at least, we had the perfect balance of keeping our services up and responding to the injects. And everyone else, feel free to chime in if you'd like, but we weren't the top team as far as keeping the services up. We were in second place on that, though a very close second. But as the injects came in, for the simpler ones, we got them knocked out immediately with the support from Katie, keeping track of all the timing and everything. And for the longer ones, for the ones that were a little bit more difficult as far as like the web defacements and such, we were able to assign some of our specialists to those to work on those over longer time periods. And even if they were put in late, we've got a response into all of them, which I think was fairly unique amongst the teams.
And so, Ms. Katie, what's your thoughts on, what was that thing that got you guys over the finish line for the win?
That's something that I learned from our PCD competition. Joe and I competed in 2 years ago together. We were actually all in person for that one, but what I noticed was they didn't mind if you were late as long as you responded to it thoroughly and you kept the people updated. So when we had our injects, they were using Microsoft Teams. The customer would say, we were having this problem. I say, thank you for your information. If we needed anything else, I would kind of follow up with information, but we continuously checked in on them. And we made sure, even if we were going to be late, that we let them know, hey, we're finding out more information. This needs to be a little bit deeper. Please bear with us. We want to make sure you're getting the best caliber of experience. And then from there, we just kind of answered it and gave them the questions as soon as we had it. I don't think we hit any of our timelines except for one, but we were thorough and we made sure that we knocked out every issue, pretty methodically.
Okay, so would you think it'd be fair to say that, from a team perspective, you guys were more focused on, that quality of service versus, meeting a time frame? Like you really treated this as a real world scenario where, a clock doesn't matter, getting it right and, and defending the network was more important than, the race?
I would say it's a little bit of both. Absolutely. We want to make sure that customers are supported. If they say they have a meeting in 30 minutes, we want to get them up and running in 30 minutes. But there's just sometimes that network doesn't take 30 minutes to troubleshoot. Sometimes it takes longer. So we kept them in the loop and we were able to meet the ones that were critical. The CIO, when he came in with his injects, we gave him a little bit more support, knowing how important his job is. And we kind of moved on from there. So, and the people who just needed a password creation, they weren't as priority as per se fighting off red team when they were trying to get into our system.
Okay, awesome. Gregory, sorry, not trying to pick on anybody, but I'm just trying to make sure I got a few things that, and I'm being selfish, from a CIO perspective. I'm now judging you guys, from your response to the hackathon and, what we look for. And so Gregory, outside of the problem area, figuring out what it took you guys to get you over the finish line, what's your takeaway? As far as this, a couple times you've done the PCDC, what's your takeaway, sir?
Can't trust anything. Just verify,
Awesome.
validate. You just it doesn't matter what's on paper. You got to know what you're talking about, and just you walk it through and say if something doesn't make sense, it's probably wrong.
Great. Adam, kind of same question, sir. Your thoughts. I mean, obviously from the SOC perspective or from a CDM dashboard side, this had to be a little different. So, what was your takeaway, sir?
My takeaway is that we need to practice stuff like this realistically. We need to be comfortable in these situations, in these environments, and we need to know how to like get critical thoughts out of each other. And we also need to know how to work in a team together. We all had like really similar backgrounds and skills. When we outlined each other's skills, like I thought it all kind of sounded like we all kind of knew the same things, but we rotated these problems amongst each other. And when somebody hit a dead end or when we weren't working at it anymore, it's like, I think I can fix that over there. I'm off of this. Katie knew there's somebody else needed to be pulled into the thing before the time limit has been exceeded or that type of thing. So just needs to be practiced. You need to be comfortable in that situation. That's how you challenge yourself.
Well, awesome. So guys, again, I'm gonna shift over to Joseph. So if you guys don't know, Joseph is the key mastermind behind the ECS phishing campaign. So as you folks get your monthly or quarterly or whenever they may come out phishing emails, you have our mastermind to thank. So Joseph, from that perspective, I'd like to ask this of you and also of the team. So one of the things that we at ECS really trying to push is additional tabletop exercises, and not from a competitive perspective, but from a hardening and from a getting an understanding and protecting ECS, corporately. Is there anything you think, Joseph, from either a phishing, that thought process, or an establishment of a tabletop exercise? Is there anything you guys would recommend, or if needed, would you guys be willing to participate in some brainstorming on our next tabletop exercise for ECS Corporate? I'll start with you, Joe.
Actually, yes. We had a meeting this morning about the tabletop exercise that we're currently devising. It's starting to take shape. It should be an interesting one. A lot more meat on its bones versus our last one. But I think it'll go well. I think we're going to be trying to change the way to make it a little more a better feel with how everything goes. Is that my dog? Sorry. But we're going to have, we're not going to involve the leads in the direct discussions. We're going to have them be evaluating and try to get like some analysts and everything to see how they actually react, because I think that would be very useful. And also, I just want to say, in regards to the PCDC, a big kudos goes to Katie, because I think she's the reason why we got first place with her communication between the team in general and also the customer. Her ability to communicate with the customer or whoever they are, and just letting them know how everything is going, how, like you said, we may not hit the time frame, but we're going to make sure it gets done, and giving them that constant update that things are being worked on, I think is really good. And like, she was always checking in on everyone's progress on the different tasks. I don't know how she did it, but she always made sure she checked on me when I was losing my mind on certain tasks. But it's great, and it's getting a little noisy here, so I'll pass on to someone else.
Okay. Thanks, Joseph. And as far as the team, so the couple things that I wanted to kind of iterate on, and I kind of led that in, from a tabletop exercise, is I'd really like to possibly leverage, some of your guys' efforts and possibly judging and or critiquing our next corporate tabletop exercise. I think you guys coming off of this event and having a win and kind of getting a feel for, that fast pace, but also being able to do this in the virtual setting, I think would be unique to get your guys' perspective and or from a judging or help with the idea and the data set. So again, I want to put that out there. I'm not want to put anybody on the spot and have you answer me now, but I want to try and follow back up with your supervisors and working with you guys and see if it's something you would be interested in. So with that said, I want to open it up to you guys and see if there's any last points, anything you wanted to go over about the competition or any questions you may have for us from an ECS or anything we could have done better to help you guys with the event.
I think next time, setting aside a little bit of time ahead of the event to just talk and get to know each other and maybe have some like basic practice stuff or basic role setting, I think would make a big difference.
Okay. Adam, your thoughts?
Well, I just want to say, like, my takeaway really was getting the chance to know. I work pretty close with James and Joe. I don't know exactly what they do. I know kind of what some of their teams do and what they're involved in. And it's just nice to be around them, not asking them questions about like, what's your procedure on this for doing this or something. So we got right in front of each other quick. And I mean, we didn't have a choice but to be comfortable with each other because we were off mute basically the whole entire time. We had some people had family members behind us or whatever was going on. And it was just, it's like when you go to a really good security conference, you come away just like with this feeling like I can go back and kind of do something with it now, it just kind of revs you back up. So
Good.
It's a good feeling.
Ms. Katie?
I don't have many improvements, kind of what James said. Next time, I told Trey, I got so nervous the morning of. I was like, we haven't planned at all. I said, hey, everybody, send me a list of all of your key skills. Right now, I'm going to use that and kind of be able to poke, okay, so Joe's really good at this. Let me tag him on this task. Or Adam's really awesome at this. Let me go put him on this assignment. Having that list of key skills from all of the players. I am not a technical person. I am a people person. I'm just there to keep people happy and keep things moving. I call myself a cat herder and or a chaos coordinator, whichever one you want me to be that day. But sometimes those engineers get so focused. It's good to have somebody who can have that multitasking skill. And that definitely helped me out, just keeping everybody online and making sure, okay, Joe's getting suffering on this one. Let me go ahead and change him out. Or same thing with James. James had stuff going. Okay, we know we're going to be short for this 5 minutes. Let's go ahead and move people in this way. That was the key, is just having a good list of everybody's skills. And I provided all of my notes and debriefing to Ernest, to Trey, so that he could have it, just to make sure that the next team is set up for success. But I think the basic way, if we practice ahead of time for at least one or two effort, maybe 15, 20 minutes, and then having that list of everybody's key skills to know how to move them around.
Awesome. Okay. And Gregor, we'll finish with you, sir.
Well, I think I'm going to echo what Joseph said. I think Katie really pushed us over the top and with the communication to the customer. I think that was probably amazing, and that was a good takeaway. As far as I don't think I have anything else to add right now.
Okay. So I want to finish with Trey. Thank you, sir. If you can come on camera, I want the team to recognize everything that Trey did, for this team. He was an advocate. He really pushed to try and make sure that ECS had the absolute best representation, for this competition. He wanted it for you guys, in the Charleston area, and he wanted it for his customer, and he really wanted it for ECS. So Trey, thank you, for your push on this. Is anything you want to cover with the team, sir? Still there, Trey? He may be having some technical difficulties. I know that he was very gleeful. Several emails come out, as soon as the announcement took place of your guys' win. So I don't want to put words in Trey's mouth, but he was very, very happy and excited, for the efforts you guys did and the outcome in which, you guys achieved. So with that said, go ahead.
Hey, I'm with you. I just can't do video. I'm actually on my phone at this moment.
Okay.
But I would like to say that I do owe you guys an apology for what you stated about not getting the team together prior. That was on me. There's just so many things going on. Not an excuse, but I'm telling you, next time that will be a priority. my personal opinion, I'm just so proud of this team for coming into this environment unknown to some of you at all, and then the ability to be virtual on top of everything else was a terrible challenge to overcome. That with the technical aspects of the PCDC crew and their technical challenges. I think you guys even overcame some of that along the way. Everyone I've talked to has just been ecstatic about your win to beat the incumbent from last time, SAIC, as well as the other premier competitors that you were up against. Again, you should be super proud, and I know everybody at ECS is. And as far as all of your swag, you're going to get a champion hat. That's a one-of-a-kind that you'll get, and you'll get a medal, and ECS will get a trophy, and we'll get a banner. And so I'll be getting all that stuff as soon as I can get up with Jeff Sweeney, and we'll send that to all of you guys, and you can treasure it forever.
Yeah, and I'll add to that is that you will also be seeing some of those little greenback things that show up in your direct deposit. So you guys did an outstanding job, and you will be, obviously not everything is money driven, but you guys gave up your time, you put forth the effort, and there are several of us that are going to make sure that we do everything we can to recognize you. So again, big smiles, because Ms. Schaub is going to ensure that you guys are highlighted on ECS Connect, for your win. And with that said, Ms. Schaub, is there anything else you'd like to cover before we let everybody back for their day?
That was great and really, really interesting, always fascinating. We love to tell the stories. People love to hear them. Your colleagues want to hear from you. So thank you for joining us, being on camera, giving us sweet screenshots. Beyond ECS Connect, we'll post on, obviously, an ECS LinkedIn account with 20,000 followers. We'll tag you and make sure the message goes wider to everyone's networks. Please share and like, and you guys did amazing. We're very proud of you. Congratulations.
And I'll follow up. So when those all posts go out and you start getting the job offers, you just forward them to me. I'll take care of it for you. It's just like, again, so proud of you guys. Thank you. And you guys have a great afternoon.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you too.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.